Good morning, Professor. So let me introduce myself first. I'm YIHONG. My groupmates are ZHOUWEN, ZHAOPENG, HANYU, TIAN, SHAOLONG, and ZHAOFU. I'm here today to present about a critical and comprehensive review of Malaysia beverage industry. As you can see on the screen, we have chosen three companies which are Brahim's holding Berhad, Cocoaland holding Berhad, and Fraser and Neave holding Berhad. I'll start off the presentation by explaining the core business and honor of these three companies. First of all, Brahim's holding Berhad is an investment-based company, and its core business is airport-centric, concentrating on in-flight catering and restaurant operations. They also specialize in warehousing, logistics, sugar refining, and other associated business. Next is Cocoaland Holding Berhad. Cocoaland Holding Berhad is also the holding company for investments. Manufacturing and trading are the company's two core business key principal business segments. Meanwhile, for Fraser and Neave Holding Berhad, its core business are in the manufacture, sale, and marketing of beverage and daily products. The owner of the Brahims is Datu Haji and Mr. Tasanobu Abe, which is the partnership business. For Cocoaland, it is family-based business that begin with two brothers, and for FNN, the company is individual business.
Hello everyone, my name is ZHOUWEN. My train number is P119194. It's great to hear for sharing my presentation. Next, we are going to examine these companies in terms of sales, marketing, and advertising and profitability. One of the most important factors of a company's profitability is market share. The relationship between market share, productivity, and return on investment has long been acknowledged. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, all these three companies didn't perform well in 2021, as their revenues and sales had dropped. For example, for Brahim's, when compared to the previous year's revenue, the performance of in-flight food and related service revenue has been seriously harmed and has massively enveloped towards an immense downward shift. In this part, I will discuss the variable input that is used by these companies. Variable input means items that companies use to generate profits, such as employees, raw material, and so on. Given that all three organizations are primarily manufacturing food and beverage industry, we can say that the items they make are the variable inputs for all three. That is, they can modify the quantity of raw materials, packaging materials, and variable operational expense, including their direct labor, wages, and other production supplies from one month to the next. An variable quantity input that can be altered within the time period under consideration. For three companies, labor is the most common example of a variable input. Variable inputs are the tools that a company uses to manage short-run production. Next, for fixed input, which is input that cannot change in a short period. Capital is the most common example of a fixed input. A fixed input, such as capital, provides a capacity limitation for a firm's short-run production. A fixed input is a resource or factor of a production that a company cannot change in the near run in order to affect the quantity of output it produces. In short-run manufacturing, most enterprises have multiple fixed inputs, particularly buildings, equipment, and land. Hence, focusing on the fixed role of a capital in the analysis of short-run production yields a lot of insight. On the other hand, fixed input is commonly referred to as a long-term asset because it is unable to change in the near term to follow a trend or environment, which making it risk. Thank you. This is my group presentation. Let's move on to my teammate.
A five-focus analysis is widely used to define a business plan that addresses an industry's competition. For Brahim's bargaining power of supplier is strong, and Brahim's may pay a higher price, and the ability to maintain above average profitability in the restaurant industry may be impacted. Besides, that of the new entrants and the rivalry among exciting competitor is high. For example, Brahim's primary competitor is KL Airport service the SDMBHD. Then their vulnerability also includes the strong bargaining power of buyer. Next, for Cocoaland, new entrants are widespread in this court. Rivalry among exciting competitor is higher also. Meanwhile, for F&N, buyer bargaining power is a significant vulnerability. Besides, the threat of the competitors' products also is a vulnerability of F&N. For instance, Angola sellers passes the milk and sterilize the milk, which contains an ideal blend of the merchant. Furthermore, competitive rivalry among industry competitors is intense. To summarize, we can say that the Cocoaland Holdings brand has a competitive advantage. Cocoaland has made a reputation for themselves by serving the country's huge lower and moderate income groups. Within lower price, the premium companies, and the innovative products, they have effectively inflated Malaysian and regional markets, while competing with more expensive products from the US and Europe. To remain competitive, the group continues to create multi-flavor product options that are tailored to a broad group of customers. Improves description channels, further controls store cost, and enhances operationally effectiveness. Cocoaland is also worthy in their raw materials.
Besides, we discuss business strategy for each company. Brahim's Holdings Berhad incorporates technology into the business strategy. Companies that market their products as technologically superior have an edge in a high-tech environment where everyone is seeking the next gizmo. It also uses a business expansion strategy. Growth strategies look for ways to increase revenue from product or service sales. For example, it employs a horizontal expansion approach. Brahim's capabilities can readily be redirected toward serving hospitals, hotels, and other organizations that demand specific high-quality meals. Next is the Cocoaland Company. It uses an umbrella strategy because it has a variety of brands. For F&N, they strategized their business by introducing their products into new markets, including Indonesia, Thailand, and Myanmar. The major products are introduced into new markets such as 100 Plus and Teapot. Next slide. As a result, we may conclude that Brahim's Holdings target primarily. Next slide. As a result, we may conclude that Brahim's Holdings targets primarily housewives, hiring people who require quick food preparation or someone who eats healthily. They mostly manufacture cooking packaging. The next company is Cocoaland Holdings, which Next slide. As a result, we may conclude that Brahim's Holdings targets primarily housewives, hiring people who require quick food preparation or someone who eats healthily. They mostly manufacture cooking packaging. The next company is Cocoaland Holdings, which focuses on teenagers and children with products such as snacks, chips, pudding, and light food. For the third firm, F&N, they have a wide range of targeted customers since they offer a large service of products that can meet a wide variety of consumer wants. Because their target customers and products are diverse, it can be concluded that the three companies have limited competition power. But F&N companies are not like the previous two companies in that they only focus on housewives, teenagers, and children. Instead, they produce a wide range of products to meet the needs of a diverse spectrum of customers. In my perspective, F&N is the most successful company when compared to Brahim and Cocoaland.
Fraser and Neave, Cocoaland and Berhad not the perfect competitors, as perfect competitor refers to each other selling similar products in a market and almost non-existent due to intense rivalry. Since Fraser and Neave, Cocoaland and Berhad are not selling the similar products but still in the food and beverage industry. For example, Fraser and Neave sell isotonic drinks, but Cocoaland and Brahim do not. On the same point, Brahim operates its business by selling flight catering for restaurant and cafe, but Fraser and Neave and Cocoaland do not. The major products of Fraser and Neave and Cocoaland not in the main food, such as drinks, candies, and snacks. Hence, there is no substitute products between each other. Brahim Holdings Berhad excels at spotting and exploiting opportunities to stay relevant. This organization is restructuring and realigning its key operations and skills to fulfill the revolving needs of economy. Brahim has a strong management team that reflects the proper mix of talent and expertise. Brahim had become a household name and icon of halo brands in the food and beverage industries for more than 30 years. Brahim has also does well in brand reputation. For Cocoaland, the creation of unique items or services that attract customers leads to a profitable business. Product placements are offered with a unique value in order to attract a broad audience. This allows customers to form a closer bond with the brand and hence influences their purchasing decisions. Fraser and Neave do well in diverse brand products including 100+, F&N Seasons, F&N Nutri, F&N Fruity, Carnation, and other familiar brands that we can see in the market through the diversification of products that allow Fraser and Neave to enjoy diversified company revenue.
Last but not least, we will now presentation by discussing what each company does not do well. For one hand, shortage of capital fund for family investment is one of their vulnerabilities. For example, their expressing value decrease, low profit margins, excessive low cost, and poor mean position. As for Cocoaland, there may be a limitation of the possibilities or limited necessary for scale as are required. Besides, there is no strategic preparation on the other party person when making the decision. Furthermore, Cocoaland had a low loyalty supplies. Their product is not well known and only coincidentally see. This may be because of the lack of investing. A company lacks clean definition of the business without a solid business plan, including present, future, employee and management leaders, opportunities, and risk expect cash follow, marketing strategies, and competitor analysis. This makes them not doing well some particular areas.
Enhance their performance. Brahim Holding Berhad shifted its business concentration and operational attention to non-aviation commercial customers, hedge the in-flight food only strategy, and consider providing service before and after departure. Consider offline delicatessen store operations, expansion and redesigning the entire business structure, developing warehousing logistics technologies. Cocoaland Holding Berhad introduced multi-flavor product offerings that are customized to serve a broader group of customers, build innovations to a respectable level at a time when prices are low, tighten supply chain management, and assess cost management initiatives. Fraser and Neave Holding Berhad provide products that fit a changing needs of our customers and adjust our pricing to protect our businesses from cost pressures. Strong emphasis on exports, focus on implementing our mind to long-term strategic plans.